When last we halted from our hiatus hideout, things were looking grim, and we were near our Whitaker's end, as a recently activated human anthropomorphic Angora was driving both cops and robbers round the bend. But will a cosmetics-based cur let the cat out of the bag and set the sights of her baneful blunderbuss on our pugnacious puss? Find out right meow!
Party's not a party's a man who fights crime, and we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time with John and Niall and a guest who just rhyme with Bat
Minute! One thing I would actually do bemoan in the movie, and maybe I'm just not looking hard enough, but the fact they go into such heavy, cat things now, she's Frances Conroy throws the friggin' ball of catnip at her and she grabs it and starts rubbing it in her face and stupid stuff like that.
Just,
but
oh my god, the way she rubs it on her face is just it's too sexy.
It is.
It made me uncomfortable.
That's the thing. She got a Razzie for this. It was like, hey, she's committed. Come on.
I actually about halfway through, I was like, you know what, Halle Berry's doing her damnedest to make this movie the way the director envisioned it. And she's really trying to ham it up. And
she is being a cat.
She is,
her physicality in this movie is really impressive.
Yeah.
Just in terms of how over the top it is.
When it's not CGI, at least.
Right.
like pretty much every jumping scene.
But the thing is, because on the soundtrack, you do get, we mentioned Scandalous by Mystique, one of the most celebrated tunes of the early 2000s, which was just everywhere at the time. But I don't know, because they would have been era appropriate, but maybe they weren't big enough in America. But did you guys ever get Atomic Kitten, the band?
I've heard of that band.
Yeah, I don't know their music.
They were big here, but they were never good.
They weren't good, but then none of the soundtrack to this is good. So it's like, why not put it in some Atomic Kitten? Just have it there. Come on, just go for it. But tragically, they did not go for that. But, oh well. Maybe as part of the thing, if they do re-release it, they have to call the CatWoman remix. Basically, just to tie it all in together.
Actually, you mentioned just before, I can't even remember her name now. The character, anyway, the owner of the Egyptian Mao.
Oh, yes. Oh, the lover name. Ophelia Powers.
Ophelia Powers, yeah.
Now, that is a drag queen or a porn star or something. That is a crazy...
an ancient cat witch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it meant to be, I feel your powers?
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Perhaps.
Immediately where I was like, oh girl, I feel your powers.
Oh yeah. No, she is fantastic though. I want more of her in this movie.
That's the thing. There was a part of me that was a bit they could have made this Selena Kyle. They could have had her. Yeah. They could have alluded to her being Selena Kyle. Apparently, they were going to cast Julie Newmar from the '60s show in that part.
Really?
And she turned them down.
Shocking.
What a surprise.
Another thing, still got in one of the most renowned character actresses alive, Frances Conroy, Ruth from 6 Feet Under, been in tons and tons of stuff, always excellent. And she just, I guess she came in and was like, hey, working actress, gotta pay the bills. So they can't all be winners, right? But and she has to deliver the lines of you are a cat woman. It's the title.
Or when the cops are saying cat chick. No, cat broad.
Cat broad.
Cat broad.
Cat tomato.
Yeah. That brought me back, though, to the Penguin, though. This cat broad. So the more you hear it, the more I'm beginning to like Cat Broad as a title now.
I sometimes jokingly call LOL broad, and I usually get a slap. She is not happy with this. But that makes me do it more, just to wind her up. That's our relationship, just annoying each other.
But the part of also Patience's powers as she moves on, is like not only becoming more and more cat-like, but seemingly at will turning into CGI when she can just jump around. And if you've played like the Arkham games and you've played as Catwoman, now it's like this must have been where they got all the moves from, because all the jumping, everything, it's like terrible in the movie because it's so blatantly CGI.
Because
but you can imagine
the same animation as the game.
Yeah, it looks like the people who made the game were probably sitting going like, I guess this is what we're going to have to do with
just
Catwoman.
reuse that.
This is like, it's just wide jumps, pounces, and then stops and jumps. It's exactly the same moves and stuff. And it's like, well, I guess some good came of it, but holy crap, it is a lot of CGI, though.
Yeah, and I hate to just be belittling CGI all the time, because it's such an obvious thing that people like our age do, But it really dates this movie. It looks so bad.
They just used it when they didn't need to.
Yeah.
And then that shortened the rest of the available budget you had to make your actual shots that needed the CGI look really good. Because this is post Professor McGonagall turning from a woman into a cat and vice versa.
Oh, yeah.
And they managed to do it for Harry Potter, and that looked good.
Yeah, it looks fine, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, fine. Way better than this cat.
There's kind of a testament to this. Even the things that happened this week, where you're seeing, like, you think the world's making some progress, and then it's not. Like, you look at this and you see, like, how insanely, like, sexualized the Halle Berry cat version of the costume is and stuff. It's like, it's even more sexualized than the Michelle Pfeiffer version. And you're just like, oh yeah, but like, nowadays, this week in fact, Melissa Benoist finally got some trousers for Supergirl, basically. And it's like, oh, the progress we've made and stuff. But at the same time, and it's the same week, like, oh, that Lion King's coming out. And you're like, look at the CGI in this. You would think these are actual lions. And then at the same time, look at this trailer for Cats. And you're just like, oh we have not come that far at all.
Let's look at this trailer for Cats.
Can't wait.
Speaking of amazing CGI, realistic looking cats with human breasts for some reason.
Let's look at those shots of Jennifer Hudson in that trailer. They look like
it looks like a Snapchat filter.
They look like they came from like 2002. Like, it's just like, this might have been impressive years ago, but why would you try to sell your movie on this? If you know it looks that bad, don't put it in the trailer, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and I'll defend a lot of it, right? Because from what I understand, the musical, it is pretty wild and pretty crazy. Yeah, it's like, making cats essentially into people so you can understand their story. It's like, okay, cool. And they're singing and dancing. I'm on board with that. I have no problem with that. So in that respect, I thought the trailer was fine. It didn't freak me out. But the effects, they were so cheap.
So bad.
It's the live action Lion King that we as a society deserve.
See, now I am actually tempted to see the Lion King though, solely because, right, I like the original and I love cats. So I just want to see cats that look like real cats so I can go, ah, for 2 hours.
I want to go see that we have a giant, it's like a 10-story IMAX or some crazy thing.
Whoa.
I just want to go see it in that because I think it's going to be amazing to look at. I could wear headphones. I don't care.
See, I feel now it's a personal duty to me because I paid to see that Aladdin remake, and I feel terrible about it because it's so bad, but now it's such a big hit. So I feel like I have to put people off going to any Disney remake now. It's like, don't encourage them. Don't
make amends now.
You keep going to see them, no matter how bad they are. They'll keep making them because people are going to see them. It's like, so I'm trying to go to everybody. Just stop. Don't do it.
But they're giving us that new Mulan, which looks pretty dope.
My problem with that is there's already a Chinese movie of Mulan, which is great. So I kind of don't need this one because,
it's just also unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, who is this for? Why do they think this is necessary?
I'm on board. I just want to see the live action gender bending though. That's going to be good.
But that's the thing. Like as you're saying though, Liz, you have like an IMAX close by because the tagline for this movie was "Catch her in IMAX."
Oh no!
Oh. But it didn't all work out, did it, Niall? Have you got those details?
No, well, if you want to take that, John, by all means, go ahead.
Well, I actually haven't made notes of them, so I'm just trying to remember them. But basically, it caused a lot of problems because they didn't get the IMAX ready in time. They didn't shoot it properly and then edit it properly and whatnot. So as far as I'm aware, it didn't then come to IMAX at all.
Oh, no.
Despite that great advertisement.
No. The things I was inspired by, because you're thinking like, oh, they're doing a cat pun for the the tagline. But then I was thinking of like, remember earlier this year when Captain Marvel came out and they had the bit in the trailer where it's like a hero and then it faded out and there was just the her was left. I was like, they could have called her a purro in this.
Oh.
I was like, oh, come on. You have to make a new Catwoman movie just to have that be the tagline now. Come on.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. I'll let you off, though. They're not all hits.
They can't all be hits.
I'm going to see the Cats movie in IMAX.
Of course you are.
Oh, my God.
It comes out the same day as Star Wars. Did you know that?
Please tell me you're seeing Star Wars first.
I'm seeing Star Wars first. Yes, we're going to go at like 6 and then...
Double feature
Double
it?
bill.
Put my husband in an Uber. Like, all right, sweet, I'm going to see Cats.
All right. I was like, your poor husband. Thank you for sending him home.
I wonder if that's a calculated thing, though, because they're like, maybe they saw an early cut and they're like, oh my God, this thing is terrible. What are we going to do? And they're like, if we put it at the same day as Star Wars, we can use that as an excuse.
No, that's a ballsy move.
It's an excuse. It's so you could say, oh, we released it on the same day as Star Wars. Who was sleeping on that? Whoops.
It would have been a success.
That's the only reason.
And maybe they're like, if Star Wars is sold out everywhere and people can't get tickets, they'll have to go see Cats if they're already at the cinema.
It's the only other thing playing.
Oh, yeah, because that's how it works in 2019.
No.
You just turn up and hope you can get tickets. You don't buy them online.
People
you don't buy them on an app. No.
People still do.
Seriously, oh my God.
I watch them as I'm walking into the theater with my tickets already purchased, walk up and try and buy a ticket for an opening weekend Marvel movie.
That's insane. What
and
the
then
hell is...
leave empty-handed.
See, I buy my tickets like ages in advance. Not even the same day. I'm like well in advance. I'm buying these for next weekend, and it could be a movie that's been out for a month. It doesn't matter.
That's the same tactic. That's how my brother saw A Life Less Ordinary 3 times in the cinema. It was because he was queuing up to see Titanic, and it sold out every time. And he's just like, what else is available? Life Less Ordinary? All right. Yeah, I'll watch it again.
The movie of that year. Yeah. Come on.
He's like, I've already come all the way out to the cinema, so all right, I guess I'm watching this thing for the 3rd damn time.
To be fair, that was the 90s. There weren't a lot of options. Now I could have ordered tickets while we've been talking and you wouldn't know. That's the future, people.
Just nowadays, too, like, that was also in a small town. Like, living in a big city here, like in Liverpool. It's like, don't worry, there'll be like 15 screens showing it. Like if this thing manages to sell out literally every one of them, don't worry, there's another showing in half an hour's time and stuff. Like it's
always hard to get Star Wars tickets when I buy them for us. That's why I usually buy them in bulk.
Well, it was up until Solo, and then it was bizarrely easy. I remember being shocked, been like, holy crap, you could just literally went into the cinema opening day and been like, oh, there's nobody here. This is. Oh, to be fair, that was a matinee showing, so maybe there are people waiting for the evening time.
No, I went to an evening showing on opening night for Solo and was pretty much alone in the theater.
Oh, crap. I we don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but I would think though, to normal people, so to speak, 6 months between Star Wars movies is too short for them. They're like, I just saw one at Christmas. I don't need to go to this. They don't know the difference or care. They're just like, I just saw Star Wars. Let's go see something else.
Yeah, I'm sitting in wait now for the Solo Renaissance to come. Like a couple of years' time, people are going to be like, that Solo movie was actually pretty good.
No, it's got it already. A big hashtag on Twitter has been calling for a sequel, and Ron Howard even addressed it.
Oh, I'm sure Ron Howard will. He's just like, of course, yes. It was
he was game. Yeah, obviously he didn't say there's one in the works, but he's like, I'd love to do more. There's great cast, great crew.
Yeah. But because we should just start now, like hashtag Catwoman too, and just like I really think the best tagline. So come on.
I really think I think you know what, I'm in on this project. I don't know how I can help you with it. I have limited skills, but I will lend them to this endeavor.
I will tweet constantly.
Yep, we're here. People
I
the fans.
I can't promise
the
that I'll
fans
tweet.
Demand it.
That was actually the original draft of that monologue from Taken of just like, I have a limited set of skills. I will use them
To bring back Catwoman.
No, I'm going to pay to replace all of the posters that say release the Snyder Cut and change them for release Catwoman 2.
Release the Pitof cut.
Yes, we demand it. The fans want the Pitof cut.
I feel bad though, because then I feel like Pitof will be coming out like so full of hope. It's like, people love me again. It's like,
No.
It's like, people never loved you, Pitof. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Aww.
There's a 3-hour, 45-minute version of this movie out there somewhere, and I want to see it.
My favorite bit of trivia I learned on, because we've just kind of gone on a mad tangent now. The structure of this episode seems to have fallen apart altogether.
Much like the movie Catwoman.
Also what I expected going in.
Yeah.
But the favorite thing that I learned about this was that, because there's a scene towards the end when it's becoming apparent that Sharon Stone is the new villain of the piece. And she shoots Benjamin Bratt. And he has no reaction to being shot. He just goes down. I was like, oh, maybe he's got like a bulletproof vest on. No. He's been shot in the shoulder, and he's just like, you'll never get away with this. It's
It's
like,
a minor
ice cold.
inconvenience.
and it's like, dude, come on. You're a professional actor. Like, surely you must know to react to a bullet wound. And then I found out that apparently Benjamin Bratt, after this, was in talks to be one of the leads in Basic Instinct 2. And Sharon Stone vetoed him because she thought he wasn't a very good actor. So those two shared time on screen, and Sharon Stone was like, never again.
Oh, that's harsh. That's horrible.
I mean, like, you could say he dodged the bullet because Basic Instinct 2 does not have a good reputation, but you would think he dodged a bullet in this movie about his reaction to getting shot.
By taking that bullet, he dodged another one.
Oh. It was a sacrifice worth making.
But
So I actually, speaking of men, because of course, who cares about the other characters? I actually like Patience's boyfriend. I know you didn't like him, Niall. I thought he was nice. I liked their relationship. He was a lovely man.
That's just because
he could romance anyone.
You just like him, John, because you remember him from Demolition Man, and just that the love of that movie permeated over into this. Don't get confused with what's happening.
It is possible. It is possible.
I thought he seemed like a decent fella. But
He was fine.
maybe a bit bland, but like
Very bland.
But that's like, who is going to be attracted to Patience? That seems realistic to me.
Exactly. And she needs some kind of stabilizing figure in her life, although she does, of course, shun him at the end and basically go off to be a sexy lady of the night.
And apparently there's an alternate ending where she doesn't do that. Did you listen to the episode of How Did This Get Made about Catwoman?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they talked about the ending on it. Like, I don't remember. It's something with, like, they're outside of a mural that she's painting, presumably on the outside of that school where he hangs out and they play basketball.
Yeah, nothing suspicious about a grown man hanging out around a school playground.
Nope, nothing at all.
One of my favorite thing was like, because again, I was writing so like I've not even made a dent in like the amount of notes I ended up making for this thing, because it was like every shot, the camera moves are so erratic. Every shot has got something stupid going on in it. But at one point when I had to just give up and walk away because I'm like, this is too much, was like, there's a bit where he's in talking to kids. And he's just sitting in the classroom, and Benjamin Bratt's just got a basketball with him. And it's like, why would this cop come in to talk to kids in the classroom? Why has he got a basketball with him?
Oh, because that's how you relate to children, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Or is he just like, because, oh yeah, I'm the guy who was playing basketball with that woman, so in case they don't recognize me, I brought a basketball with me.
No. Kids in America actually cannot hear you physically if you are an adult not carrying a basketball in a school. That's just like, it's just like a rule that it's an adaptation you must make as an American adult. Children cannot hear you.
To hear you.
It's a physical thing. They can't help it. We've just got to learn to adapt.
But anyway, yeah. So there's this. What else happens in the movie? There's like this Catwoman finds out. Well, there's a bit. She at first robs a jewelry shop,
Yeah.
jewelry store.
For no reason.
Does
Okay,
her
'cause-
mask change in the middle of that scene too?
Potentially, yes.
Because this jewelry store just happens to have, like, a black leather mask on display that's perfectly molded to her face
Yeah, that's a normal thing, right? In a jewelry shop.
in this fetish town.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. No.
And the jewel thieves have brought shotguns to steal jewelry, which I think is a terrible gun for a jewelry heist.
Or for any low-key robberies, like, don't bring the loudest friggin' weapon you can possibly...
And
Like a silenced pistol, not a bloody great big shotgun.
the most accurate weapon ever, a shotgun.
Smash everything to pieces on your way out, yeah.
Well, and she's got that giant whip. Like, talk about collateral damage.
And that's the thing, because we had a whole thing with within Batman Returns where we're like, oh, they actually do, like, show you, like, the whip is wrapped around her the whole time. It's kind of like a tail and stuff. And it's like, oh, I never noticed until we looked at it a minute at a time. It's like, oh, yeah, it's always there. But Patience Phillips does seem to have, like, the magic whip thing, where it's like, it appears when she needs it to appear. And then if
Where
it's-
was she keeping it?
Yeah, when she's not holding it, where is that whip? It never comes up. It's just like, sometimes she has it, sometimes she doesn't.
Well, her whole... this is going back to the outfit again, but I completely forgot to say it before. I was talking to Lol about this, and she came up with a thing that she was surprised that basically she's wearing a lot less clothes. See, the whip comes into that as well, because where the hell's the whip? She's wearing a lot less, but it's nowhere near as sexy
Yes.
as Michelle Pfeiffer.
I think it's just because it's so ostentatiously bizarre.
It's trying too hard.
Yes.
I do remember, actually. I remember the day I saw this outfit, because, again, I was in secondary school, or high school, as Americans call it, and we had limited access to computers. Like, back then, this is like, what, 2003 or 2002, probably, when the stuff was coming out about it. And I didn't have my own computer back then, so I went into, like, my secondary school's computer lab or computer room or whatever, and it went on the very slow dial-up internet they had, and I do distinctly remember being like, oh, they've released a picture of the new Catwoman, and I was a big Batman fan, so I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to see this. And then, like, I guess I would have been, what, 15 then, maybe? And then just, like, seeing that picture, like, slowly come in to, like, slowly load up on the page. And,
Oh, you waited for that.
yeah, and been like, what the hell is that?
Maybe it's because bootcut pants are inherently non-sexual.
Right?
What are you talking about? They do it for me every time.
And we talked about
They're
it
the only thing.
briefly on the main show. Like, they made a kid's Halloween costume of this outfit.
Yeah.
What?
Yikes.
And the thing
Big
is,
yikes.
Interesting.
and then they did one thing, it was just like, well, this is out of the frying pan into the fire, where they're like, well, we don't want the kids to be going around nearly naked, so we'll attach brown fabric that's the skin, which is essentially kind of making the kids not do black face, but black body. And it's like, just
It's
don't.
odd.
Don't do it.
no.
Don't release a Halloween costume for children associated with this film. Unless it's one of Patience Phillips' outfits, which are all faultless. Because when she goes to visit Francis Conroy for the second time, she's wearing this outfit which is like, it's a spotted t-shirt with brown short sleeves, a fur like lining around the t-shirt sleeves, and then a purple undershirt, which is, I think, a fabulous outfit, quite frankly. I would wear this if I were her myself.
I'm going to buy you it now.
Please do.
It's a pretty cool outfit. Like it's. I was genuinely like, yeah, I think that's looking pretty hip these days. Sadly, no Jinkos with that one either. But,
That's unfortunate.
can't get everything.
Nothing can be perfect.
During one of the moments on this recording that I zoned out for a couple minutes, it's because I was browsing Jinko on Poshmark.
You mean you don't want to pay
Stupid.
$104 for them new on the website?
God, no.
I'm trying to even think though, because like we can't keep going on about this movie forever, basically, as tempting as that might be. But I'm just trying to think of, like, whatever other things to cover.
I have 2 more notes that I am interested in sharing. I have really just led into that with grace and ease. Sorry is the shittiest calling card you can have. So she like writes sorry on this cup of coffee for him, and then writes sorry on the bag of jewels she brings back to the jewelry store.
Canadian Catwoman.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what a shitty calling card. Also, what a shitty setup to do some handwriting characteristic, like, assessment.
Yeah, what the hell? I mean, and that's all he's going off is the sorry. That gives him, like, the, oh my god, it's a... But
well, it's the
needs
lipstick
to do a bit,
as well. The lip
yeah,
marks
but
and all this business.
that's not much investigation, really. Like, you'd think that's a bit unusual. But...
It was cutting-edge forensic science. What are you talking about?
Of course.
To be fair, he's doing more detective work than you saw Batman do in the last movie.
True.
I mean, it is a fairly distinctive way to write the letter Y. I will give him that.
Yeah, but it could be a sign that they've kidnapped Patience, this Catwoman lady, and they're holding her to draw him into their web.
Oh, okay. I would have watched that movie.
I was confused by the coffee cup, though, because it seemed so... The design on it was so strange. It seemed like it had been hand-painted. So I was like, did she literally paint the entire coffee cup and then write sorry on it? And that's why he's kept it?
Doodle on it on the way over here?
It just...
I mean, she's an artist.
Oh, yes.
I thought that might have been
She's
it.
just so creative.
I guess so, because hasn't there been like I've seen a lot of people say things that like... I think it was mentioned in Booksmart and stuff, where like... one of the lead characters says, like, oh, I'm sorry, and I know I shouldn't say that because women apologize too much. So if that's becoming a thing, it's in the social consciousness. The fact that this Catwoman, you know, the brash, independent woman of Catwoman, the fact that her calling card is literally saying sorry is a pretty damning indictment of the early 2000s.
Written by men.
Yes, exactly.
It's hard for us to have an opinion on it now because over here people say sorry every 2 seconds anyway.
Of course, yes.
If you bump into somebody... Sorry, if somebody bumps into you, you apologize anyway. Just
you
out of
literally
polite-
just said it
sorry,
there now.
sorry.
Like when you were fixing your own point.
Yeah,
you said
see,
sorry.
there you go.
I am from the Midwest. I don't say sorry when that happens. I go, oh.
We do both. We go, sorry, and then you fumble, and then everything becomes a mess. It's a nightmare. And then you think about it for 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No matter what the outcome or what you said when it happened, you think about it for 6 weeks.
Yeah. And you can't get over it. Ruins your life.
It does.
Yeah, I will say in terms of cultural things, the fact that they made the asshole neighbor that she has to deal with Irish, when apparently the actor is not Irish.
What?
Wait, he was Irish?
I think he was supposed to be Irish. He had a kind of Irish accent.
I didn't hear that at all.
Oh, maybe I'm just looking for things.
I don't remember him.
I don't remember his voice.
He was like a biker guy.
I wanted to go to that party.
It did look like a cool party.
I was annoyed with her for trying to yell across the street, before she's cat lady person, when she's just Patience, when she's trying to get them to hear her to turn down the music from across the street.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. If you can yell loud enough for them to hear you over their music and across a street, you're the problem. You're the loud one.
I wonder if that would have worked for the marketing, though. If instead of people thinking this is literally going to be like Catwoman, they actually call the movie Cat Lady Person. Because they're like, hey, she's not Catwoman. She's not the Catwoman, you know. But she's like Cat Lady Person. Like, she's like, yeah.
Cat female human.
It's the direct video version.
Cat broad.
But there's other things I just wanted to mention before we wrap up. Is just how stupid it is that she escapes from prison by literally just squeezing through the bars like a cat.
I completely forgot about that scene.
You mean like how the senator in the first X-Men movie fits through the bars of his prison because they turned him into water.
Yeah. There's a couple of things I was just like, did they kind of riffing on X-Men as well, where, because there's a bit where she's cornered by a bunch of police in a nightclub after she goes there to kill Michael Massey, and she knocks him into about like 50 cardboard boxes of Bud Light. Which is a very blatant, very, very blatant product placement right there.
Yeah. And I support smashing Bud Light at all opportunities.
Agreed.
Agree.
But then at one point she's like, they have her all cornered, and there's a strobe light going on. So she's like, oh, who here can see in the dark? And then literally in the flash of light, not even a flash of light, she just disappears from the screen, and she goes, I can. And it's like, it reminded me so much of that bit in X-Men where she's like, you know what happens when a toad gets struck by lightning? The same thing as everything else. And they're just like, that worked so well for Halle Berry in that other movie she did. Let's give her a line like that.
It was great.
And the thing is, I think because she'd knocked off the electricity or something, she did something to the electrics. And then as she disappears, there's like a triangular, like, electric shock sign, like stay away from here kind of thing. But instead of a human, it's a cat. And it's just like, why? What? It's a cat getting electrocuted. And it's just like, all right, I guess everything has to be cat themed. Fair enough. Okay, if that's what we're doing. Like, literally everything in the city is now cat themed because she's Catwoman as well.
For some reason. For no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because it's Fetish
Did we
Town.
actually talk? That must be what it is. It is clearly Fetish Town. Where is it set? I can't even remember.
I don't think they ever say.
No, because you think that you'd be like, is it Gotham? Is this the new Gotham City?
I don't think it is. I'm going with it is Fetish Town. I believe that is the name.
Oh, nice. Might
Well,
be a place
that's
I'd like
definitely
to
the
visit.
name in the remake we're doing, so
Yeah.
get excited.
Yep.
Yep.
You've got to put it out there. You need everyone to know what they're going into. Like, oh, okay, I know what kind of movie this is.
I mean, like, I did visit Zurich one time, and as I was walking about, we didn't realize when we were there, but when we showed up, we found out. Where it was in the middle of the Sexual Liberation Festival. And everybody was just walking the streets on a Saturday afternoon in broad daylight, just wearing fetish gear. Like, everybody in the streets. It was just like huge marches. So if this was set in Zurich, I'd be like, all right, sure, I get it.
I too recently attended a furry convention.
Oh.
yeah.
And this is why your excitement for cats has gone up
Exactly,
to the nth
right.
degree. Yeah.
But someone pointed it out on my Facebook. I can't remember who it was now. But do you approve of them having human breasts, or would you prefer cat teats?
No, why? Why?
I think it was Alyson on your Facebook.
It was me. Why
Was
did
it
they
you?
have
Yeah.
breasts? It was me.
It is
Why?
weird. I didn't think about that when I was watching the trailer until I read the comment. It was like, oh yeah, wait a minute.
Jiggly
And-
human breasts.
And why? Someone else pointed this out on Twitter. I think it was. Why are the male cats clothed and the female cats naked?
Except for Dame Judi Dench.
Yes. Oh well,
Dame Judi
she's
Dench
classy
is
lady.
in this movie. Why?
I'm so
Andy and McKellen.
confused about it.
And Idris Elba?
I can see Idris Elba, but he's probably been in the musical or something. That seems like something he would have done. He's a proper actor.
Yeah, but Cat sucks.
I know, but the
It's
rest
just-
people like it.
I
don't
know, it's
why.
inexplicable because it's terrible.
I do remember trying to watch, like, they had like a BBC film, the stage version of it, back in like the early 90s, and I was just like, all right, no, this is a big thing. I'll try watching this. And I think it was like after 10 minutes, I was like, nope, I'm out. I am out.
I watched it when I was in high school and we spent the entire time making fun of it.
Surely that is the only way to watch it, right?
I think it might. It's got to be.
Yeah, that's why this is blown up on the internet, because people are making fun of it, but that doesn't mean they're not going to go and see it.
Oh, I'm going to see this 100 times.
See, there you go.
I do like, though, the fact that because of so many memes now, it's drawn attention to that episode of the Batman animated series where Catwoman is literally turned into a Catwoman by like a scientist, and she falls in love with a big cat man. And like people have just been putting a still of that with Batman just hanging about in the background. It's like Cats 2019 colorized, that's, because that is an episode. We'll probably, if we keep doing Patreon stuff, we'll probably cover that episode at some point.
Oh yeah,
because it's just the thing is like I love Catwoman as a character. I've never really liked her in the animated series because the episodes they gave her were usually pretty bad. And it was because they were doing weird crap. Like, what if she went to like an Island of Dr. Moreau thing and they turned her into a Catwoman? It's like, how have you guys got every other character to be like the best version of the character, but you can't get Catwoman right? Like, you're spending time doing stupid crap like this instead of making her like a sexually charged cat burglar like she is in every other iteration, or just doing the Michelle Pfeiffer version in an animated form or something. But oh well, we're not here to rag on that.
Not today.
Not today,
Well,
Satan.
Both of my cats know what I'm up to because they are all over my shit right now.
Oh,
They've
they
just
want
appeared.
in on the pot.
Oh, they do. Oh, Lana just knocked my microphone over. She's rubbing her head against it.
They've got a lot to say. They're big defenders of this movie.
Dougie, do you have any opinions on Catwoman? Dougie?
It's not a bag.
No.
I don't like it.
Yeah, he
It's
doesn't
not a
like
bag.
it.
I'm out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, have we actually talked about the end here? We went off on a tangent. I don't
I
think
think
we did.
we've got no structure. We're just
Yeah, we need to at least mention what happens in the end.
Wait, this
'cause
movie
Patience-
ended?
well, it kind of peters out.
Just trickles off.
Patience, she uncovers the plot. She uncovers the real villain, which is what's her name in this? Laurel?
The friends we made along the way.
That was the villain. Yeah, that wasn't the treasure.
The real villain was our expectations for this movie.
No. I have to say, too, comment on, like, Sharon Stone's haircut. Because, like, when you were living in the early 2000s, it didn't feel like, oh, there's nothing here that's going to date. Like, it's never going to be like, oh, that was an era-appropriate thing. Because it just seems like, oh, this is all the way things are. Looking back now, like, that's such an early 2000s woman's haircut.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, the weird thing is, it's a slightly shorter version of, I don't know if you guys saw the TV show Birds of Prey. Like,
yes, that's what Harley Quinn looked like.
Exactly. I was going to say, the Mia Sara version of Harley Quinn just has that haircut as well. So there must be something in like the Warner Brothers DC offices where they're like, that haircut is evil. So just make sure every female villain should have that haircut as well.
I have had that haircut at multiple points in my life, so it checks out.
Yeah, you are evil, as
Right.
we know. So,
What was the so yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, as you're saying, like she uncovers the plot. There's a bit where like she robs a jewelry shop for some reason because she starts off again. Like I was saying, this is basically more like a remake of The Mask, where the beginning, The Mask is Jim Carrey, kind of humdrum life, shy guy, gets a thing. Turns him into a different personality, which brings out all his inner strengths and his inner obnoxiousness and all that kind of thing. It's a kind of a weird thing because it's like I've actually listened to an episode of what do they call it? Not Scissor Sisters. A weird name for a show. Switchblade Sisters. That was it. The podcast where like female filmmakers talk about genre films and stuff, and they had a woman talking about The Mask basically and saying like, well, it's actually quite a like if you look at it, it's basically what The Mask is. What The Mask character is doing is bring out all his elements of like the worst parts of his personality because he just becomes this obnoxious like dickhead basically. Whereas it's kind of like
full Jim Carrey.
Yeah. And then it's gonna seem like, oh yeah, the Catwoman thing. So like, yeah, it's bringing out all this more powerful side of her. But she's kind of doing the same things that he did. Like he at the beginning of The Mask, he robs a bank and then for some reason becomes a hero. And at the beginning of this, she robs a jewelry store and then for some reason becomes a hero as well.
Because cats are like, at their core, anarchists. Mm-hmm. But they're also like they don't want the world to actually burn because then who will bring them food?
That's a fair point. Yeah. And also we'll say that you got a flat out Eartha Kitt impression during the robbery scene where she does the "now it's time to accessorize," which is just like that must have been just the note Halle Berry was given, just do the 60s Catwoman. That's who you are now. And And for some reason she decides she's going to thwart this evil scheme by Sharon Stone, who's made turns out the cream, the product that her husband was making is actually harming people, including Alex Borstein, which has slightly hindered her just constant thirst, basically, where Alex Borstein, all she wants to do in this movie is talk about guys and the guy she wants to bang, basically.
Yep.
And then
the thing about the cream we have to mention is that if you stop using it, it really messes you up, so you have to keep using it to maintain your marble perfect skin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And then, it literally turns your skin to something that's virtually indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why Sharon Stone's a supervillain at the end who can't be beat, basically.
Yeah, it's like comically indestructible. It's
right.
absurd.
Until she gets thrown off a building, and it's like, oh yeah, that did it. Now she's dead.
Because she falls off a building. Patience tries to save her.
Mm-hmm, because she's a lady superhero, so she can't have anything but compassion in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because all women are the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
As we know, of course, yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, she is still a kind, meek lady at heart. So she
Who just wants to be shopping.
Oh, she would rather just be shopping.
To be honest, wouldn't we all?
I mean, to be fair, I would almost always am shopping in the background of whatever activity I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm at work, I'm not really at work. I'm shopping.
I get paid to shop a lot. So we did mention recently Alex Borstein's thirst and her pursuit of the hot doctor, who I like that he's credited on IMDb as hot doctor. I appreciate that. I also do appreciate that she ends up with him. That in the early 2000s, the thirsty sidekick who's not, the physical ideal of the time, ends up with the hot doctor.
Yeah.
No, that is interesting, actually, because you would just naturally assume, he's going to fall for Patience or something.
Or just or just go away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or just have her interest for him be treated as something comical.
As a joke.
Fun of.
Yeah,
Right.
her sexuality is a joke because she's not eminently bangable by everyone's rubric.
Yeah, and it doesn't even play it as like a surprise that they hook up. Like, they could make that a joke. Like, oh my God, isn't it crazy that these two have hooked up? What the hell's going on? They don't take that approach even. It's just like, yeah, she bangs. She gets around.
Yeah. That doctor couldn't resist her.
That's the thing is, we say like Halle Berry is actually pretty good for what she's doing. Alex Borstein is genuinely good in this movie as well.
Yeah.
Because I think she is just a very talented, very charismatic presence. And there's even little things like, cause at one point she collapses in the street. That's when you start learning that there's something up with this cosmetics company, because she's been buying the stuff from them. And then when she's brought out in the hospital, she's sitting in the wheelchair, but she's got her legs folded in this kind of sassy way, and it's a genuinely kind of like amusing moment of like, no, this is a good character. She's very likable and stuff, even though all her dialogue is just like cliched riddled tripe, basically.
I liked her more than Halle Berry.
Oh, same.
Oh God, yes.
She seems to have more kind of maybe that's kind of the point, that she's got like more. I want to say more balls, just kind of inappropriate considering it's like it just means she's more confident, she's more outgoing than Halle Berry is. She's just got more of she's got more kind of agency basically as well, where she's just like, I know who I am, I know what I want, I go out and I get it. So it's like, yeah, she is a more likable character overall, I would say.
Yeah, I hate saying this, but I don't really care about Patience.
Oh no, not at all.
Mm-mm.
I'm not interested in anything she's doing.
Why should I care about Patience if Patience doesn't care about Patience?
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's perfect. That we need to put that in a quote, Niall, to go with the episode. Or episodes. I suspect we're going to have to split this up.
Of course, yeah. But yeah, we probably could wrap this up now, because we are hurtling, I was going to say towards the 2-hour mark. I think we're over now, are we? Yeah, we're over.
Let's make this a 3-parter.
So let's get into scene 2 of Catwoman.
Scene 2. Now, I will end on a positive note, though, after just insulting the character. Halle Berry did something really nice. she adopted one of the cats in the movie.
Oh, really?
She did. It
to
was
be
called
fair, though,
Play-Doh.
it was the CGI cat.
It was the CGI. Oh my god, yeah, that's the cat that she had on her Nintendo Cats game on the DS. Yes, it was the same
Like
cat.
a Tamagotchi. She just downloaded it into
cat.
a Tamagotchi.
No, it was a cat called Play-Doh, and it became like a very close companion to her and her children, which is nice. But sadly, the cat passed away a couple of years ago from brain cancer.
Aww.
But it did live to 16. So
Okay.
that's pretty good going there.
Well, I mean,
And,
once we, hashtag release the Pitof cut, we've got to release it in tribute to Play-Doh now. This,
Yeah, put that
there
at
we
the
go.
start. In memory of Play-Doh. But she
Wait,
did do
Play-Doh
a
very-
really...
I was going to say, this Play-Doh is a cat very unlike my cats, who will never die of brain cancer because they don't have brains.
That's the trick, you see.
Sick
To not
burn.
get that, don't have a brain. That's my plan anyway, and I'm getting away with it so far. But yeah, she did an Instagram post as well in May of 2017, I saw, where she credited the cat with helping to teach her kids compassion and kindness and the importance of loving and caring for life's sweetest creatures.
Aw.
It's like, oh, that's really, really nice, especially because she could have wanted nothing to do with this film afterwards, but she didn't care. She thought it was just fun, I suppose.
So, really, the true take, like the real message from Catwoman was the friends we made along the way.
It was, yeah, exactly.
That's
Oh
what-
my god, that is what has come out of this discussion.
Yeah.
We know what Pitof was going for.
I guess, too, it is just like the message to take ownership of your failures, too. The fact that Halle Berry was willing to accept, her Razzie for it.
Way
and-
ahead of you on that one.
And then the fact that even holding her Oscar is going, it's got my name on it, you can't take it away from me. Just been like, all right, yeah, so even if you do fall, the things that you've done that are good already will still stand and stuff. So, yeah, I suppose we can wrap this up, unless you guys want to talk for another 2 hours about Catwoman.
I mean, I do. We probably shouldn't.
No.
So yeah, we will head off into the dark, dark night, as we always do.
Yeah.
We'll be back at some point undisclosed.
I'm actually podcasting from the surface of the sun right now, so that's incorrect.
Oh, well.
Oh, I mean, that's a premier location. How did you get that? That's expensive.
Global warming.
Mm.
I will say thanks to both you guys, too, for coming on to just prattle on with me and John, basically. Without any shape or form about Catwoman.
I am genuinely happy that you invited me to be on about this, because I've been blessed with the gift that is this movie, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Should say just at the end, like, in case it wasn't emphasized enough throughout, I really, really liked this movie.
I did too. I genuinely liked it.
I think if people are looking for a good time, Catwoman's the way to go. Like, have a drink with it, get a couple of friends around, watch Catwoman. It's fun.
Well, I agree with that. I do think it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. I think the build-up over the years of hearing how bad it was, to me, it was fun and silly and stupid, but it was also a perfectly passable mid-2000s movie.
Yeah, I think the era had a lot to do with the issues with it, but also
Yeah.
the reason I don't think I could just sit down and watch it, with a drink and some friends, is because I have a vision of what Catwoman could have been, and I get disappointed and sad.
Oh. Yeah, try not to think on that line, because you will just be depressed.
I want into the Catwoman verse.
Let's keep in mind, though, there's it's been long enough, and they are rebooting a lot of these things. And to be fair, a lot of the DC stuff hasn't been great recently, except Shazam, which is fantastic, and Wonder Woman is actually very good as well. So I'm feeling that you will be getting Catwoman as a character again soon enough, potentially even in her own film. You never know. They could just decide, hey, we're kind of in the era of Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel and Birds of Prey.
People
Let's
are
keep
really
going.
into cats right now.
Yeah, it's
Cats are
prime
big.
time. I can't remember if we asked you guys on the main show, if you were to cast Catwoman currently, would you have any picks, or is it too
gosh.
much as it's going to take a while to think about?
Hang on. Let me Google popular actresses 2019
Frances Conroy is
doing this.
Hell yeah.
It's tough when you don't like watch any movies. Oh, the blonde one with the red that has the red hair in the Game of Thrones. That one,
Lena
Sansa.
Headey.
No, Sansa.
Oh,
Sansa.
Sansa.
Yeah, I mean that's a.
Gwendolyn Christie.
Ooh.
Oh, there's an interesting Catwoman.
But I'm just imagining her now in like a Captain Phasma-esque Catwoman outfit, though, as a cat armor and something instead.
I like that.
Or just let her be sexy.
Yeah.
I would like to see them do a Catwoman movie with like the Jim Ballant character design.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I meant to mention, Alyson, because you mentioned to us on Facebook recently that you're like you get Christmas cards from
Well, not
Catwoman.
Christmas card. No, he tells me happy birthday on Facebook because they're semi-local. I'm in southwestern Pennsylvania and they're in northeastern, so I go to a lot of Comic-Cons that he's at. So I've met him multiple times. Honestly, since I was 16, so
Whoa, crazy.
Nice,
yeah. He's one of the nicest people on the planet. He and his wife are so gracious, and yeah, like I said, he says happy birthday to me on Facebook every year.
Oh, yeah, because cool. We mentioned Jim Ballant a few times, just because he did a fantastic run of Catwoman in the mid '90s. So a lot of people actually consider it to be like the best era of Catwoman was the '90s.
If you ever read his current comic Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose, which is so fun, like it is so over the top and just the biggest cartoon boobs I've ever seen. But in the title page of each episode, there's a picture of him and his wife, doing something fun, and I'm in one of them as Harley Quinn in cosplay, pretending to punch him in the face at a convention.
Oh, cool!
That's awesome. My claim to fame.
But yeah, we're wrapping up. I should also note, because I think the last time you guys were on, you were talking about potentially doing a podcast revolving around Jeopardy.
I think you might be misremembering.
Yeah, I don't think that ever happened.
So I was going to say, I did remember thereafter that like a major scene of Batman Forever makes a direct reference to Jeopardy. So I was so we could always keep that aside for you. But
and then Alex Trebek had to get the friggin' worst kind of cancer in the world. And we also lost our online source for watching it every day. So just bad timing.
No.
Yeah.
It's like everything's just coming up against this Jeopardy podcast. Yeah. But much like Patience Phillips, you have to hit back harder, guys. You have to come back, bring this podcast back from the dead.
Yeah, you have to be like Terry Gilliam making Don Quixote.
Oh boy,
it's like
it's take
30 years later. You're just like, finally, we got out the podcast.
I like the way that movie finally got released, and I still haven't seen it.
I forgot it got released.
So did I till yesterday. I saw it online and was like, "Oh yeah, that came out."
Wow.
So unceremonious, considering all the hoopla to just be like, "Yeah, it's out now." Just like it would have been one of those things. Like probably would have been best if it would have been more mythical had it never been released. Really.
Much like this podcast, then. So either release it and knock it out of the park, or just keep teasing it for the rest of your lives.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, I like that move.
Hell yeah.
So keep listening for the upcoming Jeopardy podcast that we are definitely doing.
And keep listening out for us, because as I said, we will be back at an undisclosed time and date. We're just taking our time, knocking out hiatus episodes. We'll be working on some Batminute stuff. Yeah, watching Catwoman, watching stupid bloody Shelley Duvall fairy tales. It's wonderful. We're having a great time. But yeah, do come and chat to us as well on Facebook at the Batminute Listeners Cave, where you can see things like our wonderful listeners wearing giant t-shirts from the 90s. Thank you, Doug Greenberg. That picture is a gift. It's a gift to humanity. And if anyone else has pictures of them wearing early 90s Batman stuff that's far too big for them, send them in. We'll post them. Tweet us as well at Batminute. That's original. We really thought outside of the box. So
that's why the first season was called Batminute 89, because that was a bit different. And then when you hit the second movie, it's like, oh yeah, oh damn it.
Oh man.
Yeah, we didn't think about that. We needed something generic. So yes, we will see you soon, everybody.
Farewell.